Hi everybody, welcome along. Nigel here, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and I've got another review for you here. I know you're all waiting for a build video, but basically I haven't done any building work that I can film. All the work I've done is being filmed, but unfortunately because it's paint work, you sort of do a bit, wait for it to dry, do a bit, wait for it to dry, and to make up a sort of decent length video with a start, a middle and an end, you kind of, you know, a half-hour long video, it takes over a week to do. So anybody who does these things will know what I'm talking about. So plus the weather's nice and I'm working on my Land Rover and stuff, so loads of excuses. But anyway, yeah, I've had a little shipment come in from Aerocraft models. Alistair runs Aerocraft, and as you'll probably all know, if you're a regular follower of mine, you'll probably have seen that I've done quite a few reviews of his products, and they always appear to be very, very good. What we've got here today for you is 3 sets of undercarriage, replacement brass undercarriage, not white metal, they're brass undercarriage, for 2 32nd scale kits and 1 1/24th scale kit, and I hope you're going to like what you see. In my opinion, one I know is a definite must. This is going to be the last one we look at. The second one looks like it's a must, and the first one also to me looks like it's a must, and from what I've heard it's something you're going to want to do. So the first one we're going to look at is the undercarriage set for the brand new 1/32nd scale ICM Gladiator. Now if I think back, beginning of last year I spoke to ICM. They were going to send me this kit and never did, so I'm not going to ask for it. So yeah, thanks ICM. This is basically a brass undercarriage set to replace the plastic parts in the kit. Now if you look around on certain websites, I'm not going to mention any names, but certain people have built this kit, and one of the things you can see on the instructions I got here is this very, very small, very, very flimsy little tail wheel leg has to go in during assembly, and as you can see here, it goes in and it just sits there sandwiched between the fuselage halves, and as you can see, you can imagine that in plastic it's just going to snap as soon as you touch it. So I think probably a big must for this kit, and also for the actual strength of the model after it's built. We're seeing this more and more with models now. People moan. I'm as guilty as anyone else of parts being overscaled, too thick and chunky, toy-like. It doesn't look right, so they mould it in plastic and they make it scale. The trouble is then it's very, very weak. So, you know, we see this on Bronco models a lot, on suspension components. So yeah, great accuracy, great realism, but not really practical for handling, particularly when it's going on so early in the build. So I think really this brass undercarriage set for the ICM 1/32nd scale Gladiator is a must. I'll certainly be using this if I ever build the kit. And then I've got some really sort of rough photocopy samples of instructions here which Ali has sent me. So basically we can see here the tail wheels going in and then sandwiched in the fuselage halves there. And then moving over, we've got the thicker legs of the undercarriage. I'm not sure if I've got the other page. I haven't. There is you can see we've got the thick leg coming down there with the fairing on it. Well, it's not a thick leg, it's a fairing around the leg. And we've got this plastic piece here which is inserted in up in there. And these brass pieces here are replacing directly, you have to clean up the little nib on the end, but they're directly replacing these parts here, D25 and D24. And you can imagine when you actually look at these, you can imagine if these were made in plastic. Let's get it closer to the camera for you, you can see all three. But you can imagine if these were made in plastic, then this little area here where the wheel goes, the pivot point, that's going to be extremely weak too. So these are, I think, a must for that model. They're not white metal, you can't bend them. I mean, I will show you now, I cannot bend that. I'm trying as hard as I can and I cannot bend that, it's solid. They're not going to let you down, they are a must. And I will cover prices at the end of the video from the website, and I haven't looked yet to be honest, so at the end of the video I'll cover prices. But I think really if I was building the Gladiator, that would be my first port of call for aftermarket for that kit. So that's the That's the set for the Gladiator. I'll leave them there so you can see them. Second set is for the Revell 1/32 scale ME262. Now, this is actually the instructions for the Night Fighter version. As some of you will know, Revell have just brought out the single seat version. So again, we can see here the undercarriage legs, part number F96. We all know that the ME262, if you've seen the one in Hendon, when it's started its undercarriage, it's all quite spindly, particularly the nose gear you can see here. And really plastic, especially the sort of softer Revell plastic, it's not going to be really man for the job, I don't think. I'm sure there's going to be people out there that say, I've built it and it's absolutely fine. Well, that may be the case. But if you're taking the model around to shows, or you're moving it around or whatever, I think probably this brass undercarriage set is going to be a really good thing for you to have. Now, what we've got here is the two main legs, and they're going to be a direct replacement for the kit parts. Just going to cut this nub off at the end and clean it up, and that's going to fit up into the undercarriage bay. I'll show you them close up in a second. We've also got this piece here, which is the folding hinge, if you like, for the nose gear that actually allows it to retract up into the nose wheel bay. So you can see here that with the kit, I think it's on the second page, when we fit the nose gear, you can see that part is already in there. So obviously it goes in, sandwiched in the nose gear bay while you're building it all up before it goes into the fuselage halves. So that's been provided there as a separate piece, and then what you do then is you'll clean up this sort of nubbin on the end, and that's going to fit up inside there. So not only have you got the metal undercarriage gear, you've also got the metal pivot for it as well. So that's going to be, you know, again, I think pretty much a must for this model, because as you can see, they're so long and spindly, particularly the nose gear. And this would also be a nice upgrade for the trumpeter kit. If you've got the trumpeter kit, I believe the nose wheel is moulded in one piece. Or nose wheel and nose leg, should I say. So there we can see, there's the nose gear being fitted. And then we've got the main gear going into those holes there in the undercarriage bays, as I say. And then you've got the plastic little actuators going onto the doors and everything. So, yeah, really, really good subject. And I think a must for that particular kit. It's one that I may well build one day, because I do love the ME262. I've got two of the trumpeter kits, and I think the Revell might be a little bit better. Now the third one for me is one that I know that a lot of people have been waiting for a very long time, and he's finally done it. And this is the 1/24 scale Typhoon. It's a shame it's taken so long to come out, because the kit is no longer in production. But I know a lot of you, I've got 3 of them. I know that a lot of you have got them in your stash, and it's a lovely, in fact it's a kit I promised to do a build along with, wasn't it, a long time ago. But it's a beautiful model, but a lot of people do suffer with the undercarriage. Purely, well, 3 reasons. One, it's a spindly undercarriage system. As you can see, it's just a very thin, long, straight leg. 2, the way Airfix have engineered it, it's good in the way that you add this insert into the wing spar first, and then you come along and add the leg afterwards. That sort of plugs onto there, like so. So this is actually glued into the wing, and it's actually held in there between a couple of spars. And then one of the last things you do is when the model's all built up and painted and everything, you come along with your leg and you slot your leg on there. Now this is very similar to the design of the plastic part. So as you can imagine, when you put the model down and the legs are sort of leaning forward, as it were, because it's a tail sitter, the leverage is just trying to snap the legs off all the time, and that is invariably what happens. So we have finally got a beautiful brass undercarriage set for the 1/24 Airfix Typhoon, which will allow you to build the model as per the instructions by adding these 2 pivot pins in first, and then adding your main gear at the end. There are white metal gear available, but as I said, if you took a white metal gear of this size, you could actually bend it on itself. This is much, much stronger. I can't bend that. Okay. Now the oleo legs are added on there with the holes and everything. You might want to give them a little clean up with a drill or something. I forgot to say that's also on the 262 as well. They're actually made as part of the leg. The tail wheel for the Typhoon is beautiful, really, really nicely made. And then you get the little brass pivot pin which will slot through there, when it's drilled, when it's cleaned out. Here we go, it goes through that side, and it will basically go through there, and that's going to be your pivot for the tail wheel. So and also I've got the Aerocraft instructions here showing how it fits, and you've got your identification on the spindle. You've got your 2 marks there which is showing starboard, and your 1 dot there which is showing port, so they're going to go on that way. Here it's showing you where the pivot goes into the main spar here, so you've got that marked with port and starboard. This one is starboard. You can see there's an S on there, and then this one will have a P on it there, so that's very nice. And then it's just basically giving you some words there which you can read, and it's telling you that, you know, quite often with these brass undercarriage parts, rather than give you a sloppy fit, he'll give you a tight fit that you can file to get a nice fit. Sometimes with these castings you do end up with a little bit of movement, a little bit of shrinkage, so if you went for precision you may find some parts would be a sloppy fit. So go for this sort of tighter fit, file it to suit, and we are modelers after all. We do need to get our files out from time to time and make things fit. So there we go, guys. That is the 1/24 scale Typhoon undercarriage set, which I know lots of people have been waiting for a very long time, and hopefully after seeing this review you'll all be getting onto Alistair at Aerocraft and buying them. So let me just go and check on the computer the prices, and I'll come straight back for you. Okay, so I've had a look on the Aerocraft website. I'll put a link to the site down below in the description. Very surprised actually at the prices, extremely reasonable. The Gladiator set for the 3 legs, so that's the 2 main gear and the tail gear, is only £7. The 262 gear, so you've got the actual pivot for the nose gear, you've got the 2 main legs and the nose leg, and they're £16. And then the Typhoon, which I think is the bargain in the bunch, you've got the 2 pivots there, you've got your tail wheel, you've got your main legs, and you've got your pivot for the axle, if you like, for the tail wheel, and that set there is £20, which I think is worth every penny. You know, for a set like that, 20 quid is a bargain. So there we go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you do order this from Alistair, if you have a way of telling him you've seen it on this channel, I'd be grateful. It all helps. And I look forward to seeing you all again. I've got another review coming up for you. I've received a Jiffy bag from Premier Hobbies. I haven't got a clue what's in there. I'll have a look, and then I'll show you what's in there, and we'll see what's on. And I'm also going to probably tomorrow being Tuesday the 25th of March 2020, do a little chat to you face to face, because I've got something I need to speak to you all about, and nothing to worry about, absolutely nothing to worry about. Everything's fine, everyone's fine, I'm fine, my dog's fine, my mum's fine, everything, no issues. But I'm just thinking about, because of the situation, the way things are at the moment, I'm thinking about a new way of entertaining you all in this current climate, and see what you think. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon with another review. Bye for now.